Welcome to Louisiana Heartbeats. I'm Cindy Landry, your host for today. With us today, we will be featuring the talent of Bobby Rede, who is a jazz musician. He's been all over the United States and even out of the country, and he's here today to share with us some of his talent. Welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you, Sudie.
Okay,
It's
well,
nice to be
listen,
here.
we definitely want to, I'm really amazed that I was able to meet you at a local event, the Bobby, and now you're telling me that you will be leaving our area come April.
Yeah.
What is happening there? You taking your talent to where?
Seattle, Washington.
Wow. Now, for the people like me out there that do not know who Bobby Rede is, let's share with them
You're
your
not
story.
alone. You're not alone.
Well, I'm amazed with everywhere you've been and the people that you have played with very well-known bands that I think you need to just share with our audience your story of where it started as a classical.
Well, I started
musician.
out, it was my 9th birthday coming up, and my father asked me what I wanted for my 9th birthday. My birthday is March 25th, which is coming up real soon.
Wow.
And Elton John and I are going to be the same age on the same day. I send him birthday cards, and he never returns one. But on my 9th birthday, I said to my father that I wanted a clarinet. And he says, "Why do you want a clarinet?" I says, "Because my friend John Ryan plays clarinet. That was my brother's best friend. And he took out this instrument that came in 5 pieces, and I thought it was the coolest thing I ever saw, you know." So when my father looked at me, he says, "John Ryan plays clarinet?" I said, he said, "I've heard John Ryan play." He says, "You better be a sight better than John Ryan if you're going to continue playing clarinet." So he got me a clarinet, and I started studying with an old Italian maestro, Felice Moniaci. And I studied with
Oh, I
him.
would have really messed that name up. Thank
He
you.
was pretty cool. He was a Milanese, and he was always like his white cuffs sticking out with the gold cufflinks, and he was a very strict. He was so strict when I was 10 years old, and I'd been playing about a year, and I thought I was the next things to sliced bread and Benny Goodman, you know. I said, well, I think I'll play a lot of baseball this week. I don't need to practice, right? So I went in for my lesson, $2.50 a half hour.
Wow.
Right? And which was a lot of money back then, and I won't
Amazing.
say when that was, but it was quite a while ago. And I go in for my lesson, and I'm missing every other note. And my music teacher, Mr. Modiacci, used to have this pencil. It was so sharp you could put it through a brick wall, and every time I'd miss a note, he'd dot it. You know,
Uh-oh.
"Oh, you're missing a note. You're missing a note." Finally, he stops me, and he says, "Robert, you know, practice this a week. You play a lot of baseball, or no?" I said, "Oh no, Mr. Money. I played every day. Every day I practiced half hour." And he looks at me. He says, "I don't think so." He says, "I take your father's money. You no get no lesson." I says, "No, please don't do that." I know Bubba's crying, and he says, "Okay, you do less a week's a lesson. We see how you do." I played it perfect, and this was the best compliment he ever gave me. He says, "That's okay."
That's okay?
That's okay. That's the best I ever got
Now,
out of him.
you studied under him until you was, what, you were
17, I was in high school when, until I studied with him. Then I played in the high school band. And then when I went to DePaul University, I played in college. And I was mostly a clarinetist. And later on, I played saxophone later and flute later. And, you know, I worked for Amoco for 15 years as an accountant to raise my family.
Wow.
And one day I said, I just can't do this anymore.
Bobby, let's back up a little
Yeah.
bit. Where are you originally from?
Chicago,
Chicago. So you,
DePaul University, Chicago, Illinois.
well, you know, that's why I wanted to ask that, you know?
They didn't make the NCAA tournament, and ULL did, and I'm very glad that they made it. You know, since I've lived here, I've kind of adopted it.
Well,
The
tell me
whole
about
UL
living
team.
here. Okay, so we kind of touched briefly on how you got started and that you had taken, you know, classes under renowned classical
Yeah.
clarinist. And so here we are going back to why did you
End
end up
up
in
here.
Lafayette, Louisiana?
Very strange story. I was in Las Vegas. I lived there for about 9 years, and I played in a few casinos, and I drove cab, and I played clarinet in my cab. Oh,
And it's
get off of
time
there!
to
Hey,
turn off.
go away!
There
Hey,
you go.
we'll talk to you later.
There
Get
you
out! Hey, go
Just put
away.
it on mute. Take a minute. Just put it on mute.
Anyway, while I was driving cab in Las Vegas, I pulled up to the Bellagio one day, and there's a man getting in my cab, and he looked just like Pete Fountain, the clarinet player from New Orleans. And I'm looking in the rearview mirror, and I says, "Hey, Pete, where's the clarinet?" And he says, "At the hotel." And I said, "Oh, my God, you're really Pete Fountain?" And he says, "That's what my mother gave me." And I said, "Well, I'm one of your biggest fans." I didn't have my clarinet in the cab that day, of course. And he says, "Oh, don't give me that." And I showed him my thumb. All clarinet players get a callus on their thumb for playing clarinet. And he looked and he says, "You're a clarinetist." I says, "Indeed I am." And I says, I've been listening to you since I'm 10 years old, and it doesn't seem that long ago." He says, "The heck it doesn't." I says, "Yeah, well, I'm almost whatever I was
So
at the time."
he
was in my camp. So we started talking clarinets, and I'm talking about his first album that he ever made, and how I used to try to copy his playing style when I was 10. And I finally got to play with him some years later when I went to Bay St. Louis, Mississippi, and he was playing at the Hollywood Casino. Because he told me, he said, "Anytime you get a chance, come up to Tunica." I said, "Where is Tunica?" "Oh, up in Mississippi." I says, "Yeah, I'm going to get there real soon," right? So it ended up that I came here because while being in Las Vegas, I really didn't like living there. And I looked on the screen, and I was bemoaning my life, and I see these people drowning in New Orleans, and I says, I think it's time to stop feeling sorry for myself and go do something nice. So I took a flight to Baton Rouge, and I talked to the Red Cross people there, and they allowed me to walk around and play clarinet. And hopefully I made a couple of lives a little easier.
Well, if you didn't then, you're sure going to touch people's lives now, because I think that's a story of many stories that I want to be able to bring on the show. And it's ironic. No accident has happened on purpose.
No.
Since I met you, I have run into other Katrina survivors who have come and made a new life for themselves, but you're the first one as a musician that actually left a location to come down.
They thought I was pretty crazy. They said, "Why are you going there?"
So how did you feel after you came down and you did that?
You know what? When I was walking around the River Center in Baton Rouge, and these people didn't have any, they'd lost everything they had. And the little kids would be following me around. I felt like the Pied Piper. And I mean,
you made a difference.
It's indescribable. It really,
You put a smile on people's faces in a time where there was so much sadness and destruction.
And, things happen in our lives for certain reasons.
That's right.
And I stopped questioning those things a long time ago. I just do what he tells me to do.
That's exactly
usually it works out pretty well.
And what's amazing is that I think I know of a little bit about the person coming in on the show, but I'm always amazed to find out there's so much more. And it comes out on camera. And it's wonderful. You touch people's hearts there, and he's touching mine now because of the fact that my son had gone out and he witnessed a lot of that stuff that a lot of people said wasn't true, was true. And you just putting the music out there and, making a joyful noise, as unto the Lord is the way I feel. That's what you were doing. And you can see that your heart and your passion is into really knowing, even if it's just right now, people are going to know that you, among other people, went out there. And you made a difference.
I hope
Those children that followed you around never forget you.
There's no amount of money in the whole world that can match the happiness that I see on small children's faces or on adults that are in pain. And I'm glad that God gave me the wherewithal to do the things that I can do musically. If I can touch lives, that makes me feel very good.
Well, I'm excited to know that you are in Lafayette. I'm glad that you shared the Katrina part of your heart, that you left some of you back there, and that you've had a solid musical foundation. And now I would like to know if you are ready to get up and share that with us right now.
That's why they call me Bobby Ready. I'm
always ready.
I'm ready to do it.
Well, Bobby, as you get up, I'm going to talk a little bit more
All right,
about
dear.
you. And
Thank you.
Thank you, and you play that music.
I'll be there.
Katie Anna, Bobby's story is just one of many of the wonderful people who are in our area that has given something. And here he is with his classical music, and we are very fortunate to have him on the show at this time, because he will be leaving our area and going way, way far away. Welcome, Bobby, and introduce each song.
Well, I'd like to open with a tune that is probably one of the best opening tunes that I think I've ever heard. And it kind of reflects what I think life should be. And it's from a musical called Cabaret. And it's a long tune, but we'll see if we can get through it. You ready? Here we go. What good is sitting alone in your room? Come hear the music play, yeah. Life is a cabaret, old chum. Come to the cabaret. Put down the knitting, the book and the broom. Hey, time for a holiday. Yeah, life is a cabaret, old chum. Come to the cabaret. Come taste the wine. Come hear the band. Hey, come blow your horn. Time for celebrating. Right this way, our table's waiting. No use permitting some prophet of doom to wipe all those smiles away. Life is a cabaret, old chum. Come to the cabaret. I used to have a girlfriend known as O.C., with whom I shared 4 sordid rooms in Chelsea. She wasn't what you'd call a blushing flower. As a matter of fact, she rented by the hour. The day she died, the neighbors came to snicker. Well, that's what comes from too much pills and liquor. But when I saw her laid out like a queen, she was the happiest corpse I'd ever seen. I think of Elsie to this very day. I remembered when she'd come to me and say, "Hey, Sudie, what do you think she said?" What good is sitting alone in your room? Yeah, come hear the music play. Hey, 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 life is a cabaret, old chum. Only a cabaret. And as for me, I made my mind up back in Chelsea. When I go, I'm going like Elsie. Stop by admitting from cradle to tomb. You know it isn't that long a stay. Hey, life is a cabaret, old chum. Only a cabaret, old chum. And I love a cabaret. Let's do a little New Orleans tune. It's kind of a traditional New Orleans tune done by Pete Fountain that I heard it on one of his albums and many others after that. But this is a traditional New Orleans tune called Basin Street Blues. right, Basin Street Blues. And for the next selection, I think we're going to do Swingin' a Shepherd Blues by a gentleman named Mo Kaufman, who wrote that in about 1950. And we're going to try to play a little flute. Not that I'm a great flute player, but we'll give it a shot. All right, flute. Do your magic, baby. Then we're going to switch to saxophone, which I can play a little better than flute. I've been playing flute for about 3 months now. So, that's about it. Swingin' Shepherd Blues. What we got next? I don't remember. Oh, I know. Swingin' on a Star. This is one of my absolute favorite tunes to do for little kids. And it comes from a movie that Bing Crosby performed this particular song. And I love this song. And it goes like this. Oh, would you like to swing on a star, carry moonbeams home in a jar, and be better off than you are? Or would you rather be a mule? A mule is an animal with long funny ears. He kicks up at everything he hears. His back is brawny, his brain is weak. He's just plain stupid with a stubborn streak. But then again, if you hate to go to school, you could grow up to be a mule. Or would you like to swing on a star, carry moonbeams home in a jar, and be better off than you are? Or would you rather be a pig? A pig is an animal with dirt on his face. His shoes are a terrible disgrace. He has no manners when he eats his food. He's fat and lazy and extremely rude. But if you don't care a feather or a fig,
Yeah, you may grow up to be a pig. Or would you like to swing on a star, carry moonbeams home in a jar, and be better off than you are? Or would you rather be a fish? A fish won't do anything but swim in a brook. He can't write his name or read a book. To fool the people is his only thought. And though he's slippery, he still gets caught. But if that's just the kind of life you wish, yeah, you may grow up to be a fish. And all the monkeys, they're not in the zoo every day. Yeah, you meet quite a few. So you see, it's all up to you. You can be better than you are. You could be swinging on a star.
How much time do we have, guys?
2 minutes?
2 minutes left? Okay. Do you want to talk or do you want to
We're
perform?
going to do one more.
That sounds good.
This is my last tune, and it's one of my favorite love songs. And I try to end every act I do with this one, and it goes like this. I can only give you love that lasts forever, and the promise to be near each time you call, and the only heart I own for you and you alone. That's all, that's all. I can only give you country walks in springtime, and a hand to hold when leaves begin to fall, and a love whose burning light will warm the winter's night. That's all, that's all. There are those, I am sure, who have told you they would give you the world for a toy. All I have are these arms to enfold you, and a love time can never destroy. If you're wondering what I'm asking in return, dear, you'll be glad to know that my demands are small. Babe, say it's me that you'll adore, for now and evermore. That's all, that's all. Say it's me that you'll adore, for now and evermore. That's all, that's all. Ya-da-da-da-da, ya-da-da-da-da, that's all, folks.